Well, good afternoon to you, and thanks for joining us here. This is the Meeting House on Faith Radio, and it is great to welcome to the program from the Alabama Baptist State Board of Missions, Keith Hibbs. He is consultant for the Worship Resources Office. He is someone who has been involved in a group called the Alabama Singing Men for over 40 years, and the Alabama Singing Men, which consist of worship leaders from Alabama Baptist churches, as well as the Sons of Jubal, as we might say, a parallel group with worship leaders from Georgia Baptist churches, are joining together for a concert event coming to First Baptist Opelika on August the 8th at 6 p.m. Also joining me is the director of the Alabama Singing Men. His name is Dr. Thomas Smith, former dean of the Auburn University School of Music, also a bivocational worship leader at Providence Baptist Church in Opelika for 50 years. And so, Dr. Thomas Smith, Keith Hibbs, let me welcome you to the Meeting House here on Faith Radio.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Well, Keith, let me come to you first of all. I mentioned, just gave an overview about the overall ministry of these two groups that are coming together for this event on August the 8th. You've been a longtime member of the Alabama Singing Men. Describe, if you would, about this particular group as well as its Georgia counterpart.
Bob, thank you so much for having us. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate WLBF and the support of the local churches. I've been with the Alabama Singing Men for over 40 years, right out of graduate school, seminary. And it's such a great group made up of worship leaders throughout the state from Alabama Baptist churches. And we also have some individual choir members. And the Sons of Jubal from Georgia is composed of the same makeup of characters. And it's a great time musically. We have very challenging music, strong spiritual message music, local church friendly music. And we also have great fellowship and opportunities for mission trips and mission activities when we do our tours and in local churches.
And this combined event, is this something that you've done with the Georgia group before? Is this like the first time?
As far as I can remember in 40 years, this is the first time that we've actually just been the Georgia group and our group. We've joined with other state groups before in Nashville for special events, but to my knowledge, this is the first time that we've joined.
And on August the 8th at 6 o'clock, First Baptist Opelika is the place. So give us an idea about what people will be able to see as they enter into the worship center that night when the concert begins.
It's going to be a fantastic event. We'll have, I would guess, close to 150 to 200 voices and instruments. We'll be doing a wide variety of Christian music and very, very local church friendly music. And it will be done with an excellence. Full orchestra, all the voices, men's voices. It will be a tremendous, tremendous worship experience for anybody that can make it that night. And then again, also we'll be honoring Dr. Smith. He's been with our group 25 years, and Dr. Smith's a living legend in the state of Alabama with his work at Auburn University and in the local church there at Providence. And we'll have a special time to honor him that night.
Well, you're listening to Meeting House here on Faith Radio, a preview of the upcoming worship concert event at First Baptist Opelika on August the 8th, beginning at 6 p.m. It's the Alabama Singing Men, as well as the Sons of Jubal from Georgia. And we have not only Keith Hibbs, consultant for the Worship Resources Office of the Alabama State Board of Missions, but the director of the Alabama Singing Men. His name is Dr. Thomas Smith. He is retiring from the Alabama Singing Men, has served as director for 25 years, also, as Keith mentioned, known as former dean of the Auburn University School of Music, also worship leader at Providence Baptist Church in Opelika for 50 years. Dr. Smith, an honor to have the opportunity to talk with you. Tell me about how you became involved with the Alabama Singing Men.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me and to give us an opportunity to just talk about the Alabama Singing Men and this upcoming event with the Sons of Jubal. As you mentioned, my time with the Alabama Singing Men began 25 years ago, and there was just a time where there was some change in leadership there, and I had a meeting with the leadership of the Alabama Singing Men, and their idea was to invite me to become the conductor of the group. And I had known of the group for really since their founding. I knew Paul Stewart, who was the founding director of the Alabama Singing Men back when it first began. So I was familiar with the group, and it was just an honor to be asked to be the conductor, and I accepted. And these 25 years have been a wonderful experience for me. The first part of it, I was still doing the work there at Auburn University and doing the Alabama Singing Men. But of course, since that time, I've retired from the university. And one of the things that's been such a blessing is the Alabama Singing Men has given me an opportunity to keep my choral skills sharpened up. And of course, I still am able to do that at Providence, but it's in a sort of another level when you're working with full-time musicians who are excellent both musically and have such a great testimony spiritually. It's been such a blessing for me.
Well, this is a group that really is something that God has called out of the local church. As I mentioned, you've been worship leader at Providence Baptist Church in Opelika for 50 years, and these are individuals who are involved in their local church. Share with me what you see as the dynamic of these gentlemen getting together and singing together and fellowshipping with one another, and how that really helps to strengthen them and their work in their own local churches.
Gosh, there are many ways. The first way I think of just the music literature that we're able to do with the Alabama Singing Men. Even though we're doing it with men's groups, it's also most of the literature is adapted from mixed choirs with women and men. So a lot of the material we do can be even used in the local churches. So I think we've provided some ideas just in literature, for the local churches. But also, I think it's comes what we call, I guess, continuing education for them, because just singing in a group like this gives the worship leaders a chance to, learn some techniques and experience the music from a different perspective. Rather than being the conductor, they're actually sitting and being able to observe and enjoy the music making, which is kind of neat. But also, I think for our group, especially the opportunity to fellowship with other worship leaders, um, just to share stories, share experiences, be encouraged. This is all a part of who we are as the Alabama Singing Men. And I think also our group is kind of unique in the fact that there's such a great balance between musicianship and the call to ministry. And as Keith mentioned, we have a chance to minister a lot through our performances and other mission projects that we have as the Alabama Singing Men. So it's a great program for well, and also just the opportunity to sing in local churches and encourage them is another dynamic of the group. So it's a great experience for, I think, for all of us that are involved.
Keith Hibbs and Thomas Smith joining us today here on the Meeting House on Faith Radio, a preview of the concert event coming to First Baptist Opelika on August the 8th. It starts at 6 p.m. that evening, and Keith Hibbs serves as consultant for the Worship Resources Office at the Alabama State Board of Missions. Dr. Thomas Smith is the director of the Alabama Singing Men, has been in that position for 25 years. And I'd like for you, as we begin to wrap up our conversation, to have both of you weigh in on this question. What are some of the different distinctives of this particular night? And I'll leave this open to you if you want to give us an idea about songs or maybe some of the artist music, maybe some of the other things that people can be looking forward to that night. Keith, I'll open it up to you.
Okay, thank you. That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. This will not be a concert in the strictest sense of the word. There's a tremendous emphasis on the process of worship and the happenings in the worship services, and all of these guys from Georgia and from Alabama are very cognizant of that. And so we're not there to just perform. We sing music that is relevant. We'll sing everything from black gospel to Southern gospel. We'll sing one number that's a little bit higher, more like a classical piece from Ralph Vaughan Williams. And we'll sing everywhere in between those. And these guys are very fluent in the different worship expressions that we'll be singing with the selections that we'll sing. And it will be done, as the psalmist says, sing with excellence, play with excellence. The presentation of this will be just so uplifting and so ready to enhance the worship experience by seeing it presented in an excellent way.
Dr. Smith, what could you add as far as some of the different aspects of this evening?
Well, basically, the format that's going to happen is each of our groups will sing 4 selections independently. And for example, the Alabama Singing Men will sing an opening anthem of encouragement to make music a part of worship. It's called Let All Men Sing. Then we will do a beautiful arrangement of Wherever He Leads, I'll Go, arranged by Mark Hayes. Steal Away, which is a wonderful spiritual arranged by Howard Helvey, which features solo clarinet. And then we'll close our section with Boundless Love, which is almost a Southern gospel piece. And then I'm not sure all the Sons of Jubal pieces, but jointly we're doing The Last Words of David, which is a classical piece. My God is a Rock, early American piece that's very familiar in the choral literature with Mike Vickers as soloist. Then At the Cross, hymn arrangement by Burl Red. Midnight Cry, which is a favorite of both groups that we'll be singing together. And then we will close with just a simple arrangement of the praise chorus, Lord Be Glorified. But in addition, there are also going to be 2 songs that we will lead with the entire congregation involved, again, to show the balance. One is All Hail the Power, traditional hymn, and the other one is Living Hope, which is a more contemporary praise song that we will do with the congregation. So there's going to be a lot of different styles, as Keith has mentioned, and it's going to be awesome. I heard the Sons of Jubal not too long ago with a full orchestra, and their orchestra and all is second to none, and it's just going to be a great night.
Well, that is awesome, Tom Smith. And Keith Hibbs joining us today here on the Meeting House on Faith Radio, a preview of the upcoming event, First Baptist Opelika, Thursday night, August the 8th, beginning at 6 p.m. The Alabama Singing Men, obviously from Alabama, the Baptist churches across Alabama, then the Sons of Jubal, a parallel group, similar group from Georgia, Southern Baptist churches. And so as we reflect, Keith, tell me how people can learn more about the event.
There will be an article coming out in the Alabama Baptist newspaper for one way, and they'll have it online as well. And we'll have some words about it on our website at ALSBOM, Alabama State Board of Missions. Also, First Baptist Opelika will have information on the logistics. And by the way, this is a free concert. It's unbelievable that you could get this quality of music and such a worship experience without having a price of admission. But we're just so excited. And again, Bob, thankful that you've taken time for us to share this event with your listening audience.
Well, delighted to do so. Dr. Smith, as we wrap up, what would you want audiences to take away from this event?
Well, the main thing is sometimes we kind of label these as worship concerts, and which is kind of a nice term because it's not a concert, as Keith mentioned, in the truest sense, but it's about worship. And the biggest thing we want is people to leave that place being uplifted and encouraged, and get a feeling of the hope that's we find in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and the music is to reflect that to all who attend.
Well, it's great to have the opportunity to talk with the two of you. Thank you so much for giving us some insight into this overall event coming up Thursday, August the 8th, 6 p.m., located at First Baptist Church, Opelika, in downtown Opelika. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.